There is a place in the state of Georgia where no criminal ever wants to go. That place is called Alto State Prison, formerly Lee Arundel in Alto, Georgia. If you come here, you surely won't make it out.
Stay tuned for Tales from the Toe.
iShowSpeed breaks into Alto Prison. Chapter 1. Brainstorming for Views. Darren Watkins Jr., known to his millions of fans as iShowSpeed, sat in his cluttered room, surrounded by the latest gadgets and streaming equipment. His mind raced as he brainstormed ideas for his next viral prank. He had built a massive following on YouTube, as well as other streaming platforms, with his outlandish and often outrageous antics, but the pressure to outdo his last video was always looming.
Speed, as most people called him, opened his MacBook and started browsing YouTube, searching for inspiration. As he scrolled through the trending videos, one title caught his eye: Kai Cenat's jail prank. He clicked on it and watched as Kai Cenat pulled off an elaborate prank, simulating a jail experience. Speed chuckled, appreciating the creativity, but he was determined to outdo his streaming colleague.
As the video ended, an idea began to form in his mind. What if I break into a real prison? He muttered to himself. The thought was crazy, dangerous, and utterly reckless, perfect for his brand. After a few minutes of pondering, Speed's mind was set. He would break into a real prison, and not just any prison, but one of the toughest in America. Chapter 2. Choosing the Target. Speed spent the next few hours researching the toughest prisons in America. He read about the famous NYC jail, Rikers Island, California's San Quentin, and the southern hellhole called Angola, but it was Alto State Prison in Georgia that caught his attention due to it not being as well known as those other choices. Based on his research, Alto was known for its harsh conditions and abundance of booty-grabbing inmates. Alto was the perfect target for his audacious prank. He delved deeper, learning everything he could about the prison's layout, security measures, and the stories of notorious inmates. As he absorbed the information, a plan began to take shape. He would fly a drone over the prison to scope it out and then sneak in through the sewer system, which he learned was over 50 years old and in disrepair. Chapter 3. The Preparation. Speed's excitement grew as he prepared for the break-in. He purchased a new drone, a GoPro camera, a pickaxe, and a hazmat suit to deal with the sewer's stench and waste. He spent hours mapping out his route, making sure he knew every twist and turn of the sewer system beneath the prison. He announced his plan in a cryptic live stream, teasing his followers with the promise of his most daring prank, but not giving away too many details for fear of someone tipping his plan off to the authorities. The response was overwhelming, with thousands of viewers eagerly anticipating the event. Speed knew he was onto something big. Chapter 4. The Flight to Georgia. After another week of prepping, the day of the prank finally arrived. Speed packed his gear and drove to Georgia in an Enterprise rental Grand Wagoneer, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he left Ohio behind in his rearview mirror. After knocking out the 8-hour drive, he checked into a motel near Alto Prison, setting up his equipment and making final preparations. As night fell, he launched his drone, carefully flying it over the prison walls and razor wire fences to get a detailed view of the layout and identify potential entry points. The drone footage confirmed what he had hoped. The prison's sewer system was indeed accessible and poorly maintained. Satisfied with his surveillance, Speed retrieved the drone and prepared for the break-in.
Hey y'all, it's that gangster, Week 100 from the Pyru podcast on GK David Stories, not to be confused with that buster, Whack 100. That nigga capping, but I'm a real Pyru. I'm here to put y'all on this shaver I just discovered on Amazon. It's the U-Free electric razor for men with foil shavers, hair and beard trimmer for shaving any mustache. And I must reveal to y'all that I be manscaping the shit out of my private parts with this motherfucker, even my hairy-ass booty cheeks. These clippers get them as clean as a baby's ass, so y'all need to click the link in the description of this video and order you a set while supplies last. These females are tired of licking y'all fools' hairy-ass eggplant emojis.
Chapter 5. The break-in begins. At midnight, Speed donned his hazmat suit and strapped on his GoPro camera, ready to stream the entire event live. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement as he made his way to the sewer entrance he had identified. He lifted the heavy grate and descended into the darkness below. The smell was overwhelming, a mixture of thousands of inmates' turds, all meshed together like a huge bowl of shit-colored mashed potatoes. But he pressed on, guided by the dim light of his headlamp. He navigated the labyrinthine sewer system, carefully following the map he had memorized. Chapter 6. Breaking Through. After what felt like hours of trudging through the foul-smelling tunnels, Speed reached the spot directly beneath the prison. He took out his pickaxe and began to break through the floor above him as he narrated his stream, detailing exactly what he was doing. Each swing echoed in the confined space, and he prayed that the noise wouldn't attract attention. Finally, a small hole appeared in the ceiling above. Speed widened it until it was large enough for him to squeeze through. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for whatever awaited on the other side as his stream viewership started breaking YouTube's algorithm with over 539 million people tuned in worldwide. Chapter 7. The Wrong Cell. Unbeknownst to Speed, the cell he was breaking into belonged to one of Alto State Prison's most notorious cheek chasers, a 28-year-old jet black-skinned man with a big bald head, originally from Tallahassee, Florida, known to his Bloods gang brothers as Bone Crusher because after getting popped in the face with a Taurus 9mm, he snatched the weapon out of the shooter's hand so hard that he crushed every bone in said hand, as well as eventually crushing several bones in the man's face, which required 16 months of recovery and rehabilitation before he could even eat food like a normal person again. Standing only 5'8" tall, but weighing over 230 solid pounds, Bone Crusher was a feared and reviled figure in the tow, lately infamous for his predatory behavior, having a rainbow body count of 37 unfortunate young men, most of which probably caught whatever yucky disease that Bone has that caused the cluster of pussing bumps to grow at the base of his eggplant emoji. As Speed pushed his head through the jagged hole in Bone Crusher's cell's floor, he was met with the sight of a dark, grimy cell. Crusher, roused from a dream-filled sleep, where an hour earlier he had been dreaming about praying to God to send him some fresh meat in Alto because he pretty much ran through everything with a decent booty in there. As he was still groggy from sleep and saw the head poking through his floor, he couldn't believe his eyes. A predatory grin spread across his face as he muttered, "Thank you, God, for answering my prayers." His hairy, bumpy 11-inch man's stick stiffening into erection status as Speed climbed into his cell, bending over to try and catch the pickaxe that had fallen back into the hole he had just come out of. Chapter 8. iShowSpeed. Speed's excitement turned to terror as he realized where he had emerged. The unshowered booty bandit loomed over him, his eyes gleaming with malicious intent. "I can't believe this shit. Sweet booty just popping up from the ground like some flowers," he said, his voice dripping with menace. Speed scrambled to position himself in the cell, but the Bone Crusher was too quick. He grabbed Speed by the collar and yanked him up, his grip like a vice. "You thought you could just break into my cell and get away with it," the bandit growled. Speed's mind raced as he tried to think of a way out. His GoPro was still streaming, capturing every terrifying moment. Hundreds of millions of viewers watched in horror as the prank took a dark and unexpected turn. Desperate, Speed started sweating profusely as he tried to reason with the huge man. "It's just a prank, man. I didn't mean any harm." The bone crusher laughed, a cold, mirthless sound as he started undressing, spitting in his right hand to use as lubrication. A prank, huh? Well, lil nigga pranks cost round here, and you finna pay up. After I slide up in them cheeks, let's see how funny your prank is. Chapter 10. The Narrow Escape. Speed knew he had to act fast. Summoning all his strength, he kicked the big man in the groin, causing him to double over in pain. Seizing the opportunity, Speed scrambled back into the hole he had made and dropped down into the sewer below. But his luck ran out because he landed lopsided and broke his left ankle clean in two, which immobilized him immediately. Bone Crusher was right on his heels, sliding through the hole in the floor, butt naked, landing in the smelly sludge below, stuffing a filthy t-shirt into Speed's mouth to stifle the screaming he started from the pain in his shattered ankle, as well as from the crazy bandit ripping his hazmat suit and jeans off and roughly entering him from behind. Chapter 11. The Aftermath. The powers at YouTube acted quickly to shut down Speed's live stream before scenes of him getting violated could be shown. Still, the 832 million people viewing knew what was happening and flooded the video with their crazy comments. After being knocked unconscious, Bone Crusher had an hour or so of sweaty fun with the streamer before an Alto prison guard robot doing night rounds detected the hole in the floor and called the alarm. Speed was able to get dressed and dragged himself out of the sewer before being discovered. He collapsed on the ground outside of the prison grounds, exhausted and shaken. Back at his motel, Speed cleaned himself up and then went live again, recounting the harrowing experience. His followers were shocked and relieved to see him safe. The video quickly went viral, garnering millions of views and sparking a heated debate about the lengths people would go to for internet fame. Chapter 12. In Denial. In the days that followed, Speed reflected on the break-in and its consequences. He stressed how close he had come to serious harm and the irresponsibility of his actions, capping like the whole world didn't know what happened to him when Bone Crusher caught up with him. He adamantly denied that any rainbow activity happened, not wanting the world to know the truth. Chapter 13. Moving Forward. Speed decided to start using his platform to spread a more positive message. He continued creating content, but with a renewed focus on safety and responsibility. The break-in at Alto broke him and became a turning point in his career, one that taught him valuable lessons about the balance between entertainment and ethics. Speed's audience appreciated his new approach, and his channel continued to grow. He used his influence to advocate for mental health awareness and to support causes that were important to him. The experience at Alto had changed him, but it had also given him the opportunity to make a positive impact.